perfect. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I just got the quotes, so 20 seconds I'll start my time. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna start time now at 20 seconds. Alexander Hamilton, this entire musical and his real life, is talking about advocating. He wants to advocate for his society. He wants the Federalists to be moved forward. He wants to be free from Britain. Alexander Hamilton constantly talks about how he wants to better society and how he wants to make this world a better place. So we can see that that leads me to the quote of, the next Bill Gates will not build an operating system. And I believe that Peter is trying to say that we need to advocate. And we can agree with this by saying that we need to advocate show how we advocated for the future and revolutionize for the better. So looking at my first argument of we need to advocate for the future, we've seen this happen in multiple different times. Advocation will help change our society for the better in the future. We see this through the Vanessa Gillian Bill and the Civil Rights Act of 1964. First, looking at the Vanessa Gillian Bill, Vanessa Gillian was a soldier in the army who constantly was saying that she was being sexually assaulted and harassed by her fellow officers, especially those in charge. She tried to speak up for herself. She told her family members and officers that were above her, but nobody listened or made a difference. Her family tried their best, but they couldn't do anything as they weren't officers. Eventually, this led to Vanessa Gillian's death, as she was brutally murdered by her officer that was continually sexually assaulting her in order to silence her. This led to the family protesting against this act because they wanted to see a change in our military. So this is leading to the Vanessa Gillian Bill, where the Army has to create a group of people that will take sexual assault and sexual harassment seriously and move forward, because the past of sexual assault and sexual harassment of women is not okay. So they had to move forward so that they can advocate, so that officers in charge can be prosecuted for what they are doing in our military. And then looking at the Civil Rights Act of 1964, Martin Luther King Jr. pushed constantly for this act, as Martin Luther King wanted to show how he wanted the Black community and the Black Americans to have a civil society, and how he wanted everybody to be treated fairly, and little Black girls and little white boys holding hands. He wanted to see this in our society, and he continually advocated for it with his fellow Black Americans and several white Americans as well. And this led to the Civil Rights Act of 1964, where Black people can no longer be discriminated against. Both Vanessa Gillian and Martin Luther King Jr. made a difference by advocating and talking for how they wanted change in our society, and it led to this change for a better future. Then looking at my second argumentation of we need to revolutionize for the betterment of society. So we can talk about this through the zombie series and through the industrial/market revolution. The Zombies series is a 3-movie Disney Channel series that talks about these different revolutions that are held on by different characters. In the first movie, it's between cheerleaders and zombies, and then in the second, it's cheerleaders, zombies, and werewolves, and in the third, it's cheerleaders, zombies, werewolves, and aliens. All of the movies have the same concept where a new group is coming in and they don't know how to handle it. So they have to move and push towards everybody, and they want to make sure that people are revolutionizing and learning that they have to be together in society. They need to move on through society. They need to have a better life in society. They need to continuously work together and make sure that people are living together peacefully. Just like with the Martin Luther King, they had to work together to live together peacefully, and they had to revolutionize and make the changes they wanted to see. And then looking at the industrial and the market revolution, there was a lot of we could talk specifically between Thomas Jefferson's ideals and Andrew Jackson. Thomas Jefferson was afraid of industrialization and thought it would take over society, whereas Andrew Jackson supported industrialization. And this led to many different people creating their new ideas and bringing new ideas such as steam-powered boats and the different farming equipment like the cotton gin in order to change industry so that people saw what they needed to do and they pushed forward and they made industrial in society. So going back to the quote of the next Bill Gates will not build an operating system, I believe that Peter is trying to say we need to advocate. And we've seen this through the argumentation of we need to advocate for the future and we need to revolutionize for the better. Alexander Hamilton advocated for the future as he wanted to stop the British Army, and then he wanted to revolutionize our better society by creating things and doing things like writing the Federalist Papers. He continuously showed how he could revolutionize and advocate to make a better America. Thank you.